All right, welcome back to Talking Nonsense with Brian. Today we're going to go in a little bit different of a storytelling genre. What would it be like to actually be a swinger or go to a swinger club or a swinger party? I've got my buddy Larry here with me.
Cheers.
Who's going to give us some insight on what it's actually like to go through the whole process of being a swinger. Now, I'm not sure if I can actually do it. When I met Larry, we were both currently dating somebody, and Larry suggested me and the girl I was dating swing, and we decided it definitely wasn't for us. Mainly thinking that I'd have to take off my pants in front of a bunch of people, and if I was coming out of the pool or something, it could go horribly wrong for me. Because there are a bunch of different ways guys react. I always say, one of my buddies, Brew, used to tell me in college that there's two different types of guys. There's a high ratio guy and a low ratio guy.
Well, let me chime in. Okay, you got to finish your thought.
Now, the low ratio guy is the one who takes down his pants and he's got the same size penis all the time, and when it gets hard, it just pops up, but it's the same size, and he's just hanging all the time. High ratio guy is the exact opposite. He goes from big to tiny to I was in the pool to oh my god to everything. It's almost like his dick is a comedian just fucking with you all the time at the wrong places and everything like that. Clearly I'm a high ratio guy, and I imagine most of these guys would be low ratio guys where they just don't give a shit. They take off their towel, take off their pants, walk around, and it's the same thing. It's just different angle.
Well,
Angle of the dangle. Yeah, what do you say?
Well, let me chime in a minute because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've used a little different terminology from what I heard. I heard before people are called either showers or growers. Either you stay at that size or close to that size, and this is what you got, or when you get it, and then you get turned on, and then you grow. So you got showers, you got growers. Some guys, are one or the other usually.
Yeah, I've heard that one also.
I always say that I'm a grower because, I'm like, oh, wait for it. It'll grow. I promise you.
Yeah, I know. That would be the worst thing. Is I pull out, like, oh, no, I'm a grower. And then you get everyone's looking, and you get even more nervous, and there's no growing going. It's more shrinking. It's like, oh, my God,
and you can tell which is which because all of a sudden the guys start touching themselves and trying to help themselves show that they're a grower. Look, I promise it's getting bigger.
So much easier. So much easier for a girl to walk around. She's the same size boob. Maybe her nipples get harder or something like that. And they got nothing to worry about.
Absolutely right, Brian.
Guys, it would get into my head. I'd be like, I'd overthink it, and then I'd be like, oh, God, it would turn into a nightmare.
Well, you're so right. It's all about overthinking it. I mean, it's too, as a guy, like you say, it's just like we're so self-conscious because it ain't pretty down there. To be honest, even, girls will say, it's not that pretty down there, just flying in the wind.
Most girls would like to look at other girls naked than
absolutely.
Most guys.
Absolutely, yes.
Especially you.
Well, unfortunately, because I have some experience in swinging and what we call the lifestyle, I've grown to appreciate other men's anatomy, and you can compare yourself to them in certain ways because I unfortunately, not that I want to see other men's, but you have to in this lifestyle. So it really kind of balances you out and kind of gives you an idea of where you stand in society, so to speak.
Now, is it kind of like that Saturday Night Live skit where there's like a swinging fence and they'll say, hey, nice penis. Oh, thanks. Hey, look at you. Did you ever see that skit?
I don't think I saw that.
Oh, it's hilarious. But they're walking behind a fence that's just waist high, and it turns out there's a couple of swinging doors. You think the guy's going to walk in front and through the open gap, but there's another door that goes by. But it's pretty funny. But they're all they're talking about is each other's cocks. Be like, oh, hey, you look great. And then, the small guy comes in. They're all kind of like chuckling and everything. Pretty funny skit. I forget the name of it, whatever.
I'll have to look that up. But it's kind of like that, but you don't verbalize it. You kind of look around and you kind of know where you stand on that, that scale of humanity, so to speak. And let me tell you, there's all kinds of shapes and sizes, and I've learned to say I'm pretty comfortable with myself right now. Let's just put it that way.
Well, there you go. That's why you spend a lot of time in the locker room at the gym.
Hey, that.
All right. Anyways, so let's just say.
Where do you want to go back and start from?
Let's keep on. We're going to go talk about going into a swing club. Let's say getting out of the car, walking right up the front door, what goes down? It's different than going into a regular club, I imagine.
Yes, it absolutely is. It's more exciting because you know that there could be some activity going on later in the night, but usually you don't walk in and just see a huge orgy. That's not how it kind of works. It starts off pretty much as a very nice nightclub.
Like you have to pay a cover charge?
Yeah, let's go. So first of all, these are private clubs, so you have to pay a pretty hefty cover charge. Because that usually covers, they have food and they have mixers there, and it also keeps the crowd very respectable, I guess you can call it. But
what would be the average cost for, say, if you went by yourself as opposed to going with a girl?
So for a single man, it's usually on a weeknight, it's like an $80 cover charge for a single guy.
All right.
If you're there with your girl, it's a little bit more. It's about a buck and a quarter or something like that. But that usually includes some beverages or some mixers, I should say, and some food and stuff. But again, you think about it.
If you have to bring a bottle?
Yes, you bring your own alcohol because it is considered a private club. So they don't serve their alcohol. They're allowed to serve your alcohol.
So they don't have to have a liquor license or something.
Correct.
All right.
So what they do is you have a membership number, and then they give you a bracelet when you pay at the front desk, and you have a number on your bracelet, which corresponds to the number on your bottle. They put stickers on your bottle so that the bartender knows what you brought in.
All right.
And then you you can also get a locker in the back where they put a number on your wristband as well. So now you know what locker is yours as well.
I imagine this locker is where you go and you leave your clothes and you put on a towel.
We'll get to that
something.
Point in a few moments.
All right.
So you getting ahead of ourselves now. You're getting to the good stuff.
You pay the cover, then is there like a big curtain you go behind or something? Or?
No. It's you go into the glass doors into the club. And, there's a sub room with where you pay at the register, and then you go in. And if you didn't know that this was a club that sexual activity goes on later in the night, you wouldn't know any different, other than that there is porn on most of the TVs while the music is blaring and pumping. So if you didn't know any better, but otherwise you would think it's just a regular club
pumping.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So you walk in and there's multiple bars at this particular club. I've been to a few, and
this week.
Exactly. And you give your bottle to the bartender, and I usually tip up front because you might not have your pants with you later for money. So I like to make sure I take care of the bartender right up front so I don't have to pay per drink. Even though it's my own bottle, they use their alcohol, their mixers, and they make you the nice drink that you want. But I always pay the bartender a nice hefty tip right up front, because you never know where your pants or your wallet's going to be later in the night.
Have you ever used the term, ooh, I tip you, but my wallet's in my night pants?
My night pants? No,
yeah,
never used that term.
That's like in the 50s.
Oh, okay.
But continue. So, all right, so you go, you walk in, you pay, and then where do you go?
Oh, you make yourself a cocktail, first of all.
So it's right to the bar.
Right to the bar.
Okay.
Yes, usually. And depending on who I'm with, you want to get a beverage to, I guess, calm your nerves, or just to relax, I guess you could say. And then you then you go ahead and socialize, meet people, and so forth. I mean, everybody is very like-minded there, so there is no walls put up, so to speak. Like if you go to a regular club, and women are like usually very introverted or shy about guys talking to them, whether they're married or single. When you're in a club like this, everybody is very understanding, meaning that they're all very sexual people, and they're there for a reason. They know what kind of club it is, so they're not. So everybody's very friendly. It's easy, very approachable. I should put it that way.
All right. So, like, the bar area is basically like a waiting room to get, relax, chill, take the edge off before you get into... See, I was thinking you have to go to, like, a locker or something and...
Not right away. You don't have to. I mean, again, it's almost like two separate areas. Like you said about the curtain, that's later. That's a back room. So not everybody goes to the back room, so to speak. Some people, I went there the first few times with my significant other, and we never even went into the back room, but we just like to meet other people, like-minded people. And the music is pumping. They did again. And there's also a stripper pole in the middle of the dance floor, which kind of gives away the fact that it's, kind of a more progressive type of club.
Yeah.
And again, the porn is on the TV, so it kind of gets people's blood flowing a little bit, and the music's always good. So you would not know, well, you kind of might know, but usually it looks more like a regular nightclub in the beginning of the night. The only difference there, Brian, is that the women, everybody dresses to impress, but the women especially dress extra sexy because that's what they're looking for, the attention too.
They want to look better than the next girl, just like at any other club.
Exactly.
Back to them looking at each other more than looking at the guys' bodies.
Well, there's a lot of bisexual women there. I've found in my years of knowledge that more women than not are like other women than we're aware of. But everybody has their own thing. There's people who just go there to watch because they're voyeurs. Some people like to perform and be watched because they're exhibitionists. So you got all kinds of people in these kind of clubs.
Now, what are you, an exhibitionist or a voyeur right in the middle?
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I know. And because I've been doing this now for many years, it just feels good to embrace those what do you want to call them?
Balls? Are you the guy who walks out to that stripper pole and immediately starts doing the helicopter?
No.
Right, so you're not that hardcore.
No. I'm not hardcore. I'm in the middle of the road, but it does add a nice spice to the relationship.
All right. So you guys are all set and you're comfortable. Had a couple of cocktails at the bar.
Yes. So now it's about 10, 11, maybe 11:30. It's usually like the bewitching hour, around about midnight. And so people start to get a little loosened up. And all of a sudden, you start to notice in the main area of the club that you're dancing, the crowd seems to be thinning out a little bit. People going home? No. Going home. I'll leave it at that for a second. Hold on.
I imagine
digest that for a little bit.
I imagine they're moving on down the next tunnel into the next fun room.
Yes. So you brought up the locker room. So so all of a sudden, depending on what time, and this is what I've learned over the years by going to the club, you don't really necessarily want to go to the locker room at a certain window of time, because all of a sudden everybody just at the same time decides they want to get naked. So sometimes I go a little earlier so I don't have to, it's not shoulder to shoulder, or a little bit later, usually earlier. But there's a locker room, almost like, any kind of locker room at the gym, but this happens to be co-ed.
I was going to say, I imagine it's not a boys' locker room and a girls' locker room.
No, and that's kind of cool. The first time you go in there, you're like, and I remember distinctly thinking about, oh my God, this is kind of cool. I feel like I'm in the gym locker, but there's hot women just dropping their clothes in front of me.
Doesn't sound horrible.
I can't say it's horrible. I continue to try to find companions that like to do this. So it's not horrible at all. It's kind of very much a turn on.
So at this point, I could picture you putting on like a big Hugh Hefner robe, put a nice pipe, some reading glasses on, and the slippers.
It's funny you should say that. No. They do give you in the locker. They give you a locker, and they have a locker room attendant. He opens the locker for you, and there's two beautiful plush white towels there. Hopefully, nice and clean white towels in there. No, but in the place, it's very clean, and you are required to wear a towel and not wear regular clothes when you're in the back room. The women do leave their shoes on. Some guys leave their socks on even, because you don't know what's stepping in.
Yeah.
So, but there's certain etiquette, and we'll get into that further in the conversation. But everybody, the women leave their shoes on, which is actually very sexy, because that's all they have on is the shoes and their towel. And usually it's pretty sexy high heels, I would hope,
No girls have hiking boots on with mud on them or anything.
Well, depends unless if you go on a fetish night, then maybe they have their boots on.
Well,
that's a whole nother story.
That's another episode. Yeah. All right, so you got your towel on. Yes. Now it's time to
mosey on back and either watch or be watched and try
Now,
to get a good
back.
seat.
Do you mosey back to the bar or to a new area?
So, good question. So, before you go in the back, because it's a whole nother set of bars in the back, or a big bar in the back, what you are encouraged to do is you take your bottle that you gave the bartender in the front bar that you were hanging out, and you take that in the back with you. And then you give it to a different bartender and either give them another couple of bucks if you'd like, and they have a bar so you don't have to keep going out to the front part of the club. So they try to keep the play area separate from the dancing area. Not that you can't be naked or do things in the front, but it's usually kind of two separate.
Now, since you dropped a big tip to the front bartender, do you slip like a 20 or something in your towel to give the back bartender?
No,
or?
I think they all share, so I don't really.
Oh, it's all.
Yeah, I don't even re-tip the back bartender there. I'm assuming they share tips.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing. Otherwise, it would be the ones in the back. Like, hey, the show's great back here, but fuck, I'm not making any money.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Guy in the front's like, screw you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm sure for that reason they probably split everything. I would hope. But most of my drinking is done in the front bar because when you get in the back, there's other things to distract you.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're in the back now.
Yes.
Music's playing. Girls are on the
porn
dance
is on the TV everywhere. The music is pumping, and so is the porn. And so me personally, everybody has their own little routine, I guess. But I like to watch, so I like to get a good spot. And my girl and I, who've gone there for a couple of years straight, we figured out what spot we like to have. So we try to get that spot so we can watch other people and get the good traffic. Just like anything, if you're in a bar with the guys and you want to get a good spot and watch the show, so to speak. So try to get a good spot when you're there. But if you get there too late in the back, the spots are limited, depending on the night, of course.
All right, so there's a strategy behind everything.
Of course, a lot of strategy in life, yes.
All right, so this is kind of like the front bar, but everybody's dropped their clothes and they're all in towels. And I imagine some towels have dropped to the ground in the back.
Yes, and part of the excitement back there is listening and watching other people. I mean, again, everybody's different, but I mean, I don't know about you, Brian. Do you watch porn?
Oh no, that was not me. That was my neighbor. He must have had his window open. It sounded like it was coming from.
I have a feeling we've talked about this. I think you watch porn, don't you?
Right, maybe a little.
Every day.
Not that much.
No, get some. So I do watch porn sometimes. I'm very sexual, but this, like I tell my friends, is like watching live porn. And unfortunately, they're not always as good looking as the porn actresses we see, but you get a little bit of everything across in life. But you hear and you watch and you see live in front of you what you sometimes watch on TV.
And the porn actors would be a good example of low ratio guys. You're not getting a lot of high ratio guys in the porns. I'll tell you that. At least the ones I've seen.
So now we're in the club. Now things are starting to happen. The alcohol's kicking in, the visuals and the sounds too, Brian. It's like, you hear different people moaning and girls orgasming and guys, and you're watching all sorts of, activity going on. It's very much a turn on.
Sounds like a good time so far. So then what happens? Is there another room to go into it? Right?
No, at all. So there's different
things right there.
No, so I'll explain, since if you haven't been in the back, I'll kind of give you a visual of what's going on. So when you walk back, there's a few things going on in this particular club. You have private rooms that, if you want to go with your lover into a room by yourself or with one other couple, if you want to have like a foursome or whatever, you have a room with like a bed and there's a lock on the door, so you can first come first serve. You can get these little private rooms too, so you can have your own little private party back there.
They have fresh sheets on, or just an old mattress from last week?
No, these are. It's not like a bed, so it's kind of like these vinyl pads and stuff. So that's why they give you towels. You can get extra towels. So you lay the towels down and kind of make that into your sheet for the bed, so to speak. Sheet. So you have these private rooms.
So vinyl thing. So in the morning you see the guy with the hose in the back just spraying up against the fence.
Probably. I hate to be the guy with the ultraviolet light, though.
Oh my God. The crime scene investigator.
I know.
Whoa.
I don't corrupt my mind. I try to think that hopefully it's as clean as I hope it is, but who knows? We're not going to go down that path right
Yeah.
now. So there's some private rooms. Then there's a giant like bed, almost as big, or area, almost as big as this room that we're sitting in right here, which it accommodates the orgy type thing where there's couples that basically pick out the area that they want to lay next to other couples, and you can you're basically elbow to elbow with other people. So if you don't like
you ever get like accidentally caught in the back of the head with a boner or anything? No, that's a look like you have. You got
not I know. I don't think it was a boner. It might have been an elbow. There's always that risk of happening, and you can't be, super homophobic in this lifestyle. But nobody. Well, I don't anticipate that happening, and I try to strategically place myself where that might not happen. But occasionally you get a rogue elbow or an ankle in the face, or hopefully it's not a penis that's rubbing against your leg.
What about a rogue shot by like a Ron Jeremy that flies a little too far and catches you in the forehead?
Hasn't happened to me.
You're doing the something about Mary there, and and they're like, you got something. What do I got?
I guess that's always the risk you're gonna have to.
Has it happened to you or no? And no,
just the other night, it almost happened to the guy probably close to me.
Oh, you were almost the...
I was almost the...
really?
Not the recipient, but the provider. Yeah, I had a good night. But we'll get into that later. It was such a great night. But
did you ever accidentally bang a dude with your boner?
No.
Not like bang a dude, but like actually smack, like, oh, I didn't see you there.
No. I have not. Can't say.
All right, I just want to see...
Again, like I said, I'm pretty strategic. Yeah, pretty strategic about keeping a female body part between me and any male that might be involved in that situation. But again, you have to be open-minded and not homophobic, because there could be some unfortunate rubbing that shouldn't happen. Let's
any bloopers that have happened in there, like maybe
not that I can tell you, not firsthand.
You're in that big room and you accidentally farted a little too loud or something like that, or a girl.
There's some female queefs, maybe, of course. Yeah, that happens. We'll get it. That's a whole other story. Another story. But so we're in the back.
I have to do that on the private podcast. Can't get too too crazy.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. So you got the private rooms, you got the big play area. You also, and this is a good story, there's one medium-sized room that has a window that looks out into the main club area that we talked about earlier, that people are dancing and drinking and stuff. So I'm trying to think of the name that we call that room, because it's really cool room, because people like to watch and look inside. The ones that are not comfortable maybe going into the back want to see what's going on in the back.
So we call the aquarium.
It's kind of like that. I'm trying to think. I can't think of the word. It'll come to me in a minute. Drink some more and it'll come back to me. Because I'm usually not sober when I'm in the back.
What are you drinking, by the way? A little tequila?
No, this is actually vodka with a little bit of flavored tonic. It's a grapefruit tonic. It's a new tonic that my friend turned me on to. Actually, it's sold in the grocery store and it's very flavorful.
Yeah.
But
you showed me that the other day.
Yeah. So, it might be called. Oh, it's called the fishbowl. It's kind of like the aquarium. It's the fishbowl, and that's a hot room because everybody wants to get in that room. Because again, I think a lot of people have that inner, not voyeur, but they want. What's the other word I'm looking for? Not voyeur, but exhibitionist in them. So a lot of people like to be watched, and if you've never been watched, it's kind of exciting. So these people love to go in that room because they know other people from out that don't want to come in the back want to watch them and have sex in this fishbowl. It's called the fishbowl. So I've been in there a few times. That was very much a turn on. So I think that's part of when I realized that, I'd like to be watched as long as my performance is well. Is going well.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody wants to be watched if their performance is not going well.
Right.
Like this right now.
No, you're doing good. You're doing good. You can carry on. We're going to blow through this with no editing as we're running from as pure as you get right here.
It's awesome. So you got the fishbowl, you got the private rooms, you got the big matted area that orgies happen, and take your pick. You can pretty much, or nobody pressures you to do anything. You can just go back there as long as you have your towel on and you're not enclosed with your partner, and basically watch. And a lot of people, I would say a good percentage, watch with their partner and just play with their partners. Just add this spice to their sex life and don't have to touch or be with other people. I would guess a good percentage of people are like that.
Do you ever get that one pervy guy who's just trying to rub up against every chick and just annoying, where they're like, oh, get this guy out of here?
That's a great, absolutely. So that brings me to, telling you more about the club. There are certain nights that they allow single guys in, certain nights that they don't.
Right.
Saturday nights, couples only, couples or single women.
Okay.
Only. Friday nights, couples, single women, and single guys. But the bouncers try to limit or not let the single guys go into the couples only side. So there's a side that couples can go, that you might have your wife that might want multiple partners that night, and she wants a single guy. So she has a part of the club that she can go to, and she can invite single guys to join in on the fun. Then there's a side that they don't allow the single guys, so then you can go with your partner and stay over there with just the couples only. So that's Friday night. Saturday night, it's couples and single women only. So, yeah, I've been there on Friday nights. Not my favorite night.
No.
I've been there on Friday nights both as a couple and a single guy. So it's two different scenarios we can go into.
All right. Yeah, I can only imagine the single guy, a bunch of guys batting around their towel trying to get in there, to get in the good section. And then, but the other night you're trying to keep your girl away from the guys batting around their towel, trying to get in the good section. Yeah.
So the question you asked a minute ago, have you ever been there where they get? Yes, we call them. There's a word for them too. Well, no, unicorn means that it's a single person. It could be a unicorn, woman or a guy. But on certain nights, I've been there with a girl, and on Friday night, and these guys, they're vultures kind of. Some of these guys, they are a little aggressive. They kind of want to come up to your significant other. Usually, though, I would say everybody's respectable enough to. There's certain etiquette. You want to ask first. You never touch first. You never. And these are part of the rules. There's a whole. I should have brought them with me. There's a whole list of rules in a strip club. You to be polite. You have to. You can't be touchy feely. You got to ask first. You got to. So sometimes, occasionally, guys won't ask. They'll just come over and sort of rub your girl and then the universal language of get lost.
Yeah. See, that's where I don't think I could do the whole swing club thing. If I get with a girl, it usually means that I actually like her, and it would drive me nuts to see another guy naked on top of her or something like that. I don't think I personally wouldn't be able to deal with that part of it. I don't think. Or the yelling at her of being on top of another girl.
It all depends on the type of relationship you have.
Right.
If you're with your best friend and you can separate the act of sex with the emotional bond that you have with somebody, and I don't want to get too deep into that, but that's the key. If you're with somebody that you are so in tune with and you want to explore your sexuality together, then it's great. And you have to have amazing communication with your partner. That's the key. If you can't communicate everything, then this type of lifestyle is not for you. But if you are with your best friend and you can communicate and want to explore this side of both of you, then you do it together and you have rules. Always got to have rules. You have to have a safe word too. We'll go into that in a minute too. You got to have that safe word because you have to be on the same page. And if she says refrigerator, you say, all right, honey, let's go.
That's your safe word, refrigerator?
That was, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
What's the best safe word you've had?
Let's get the fuck out.
You ever have a safe word that like went horribly wrong? Like,
No, I can't say I have. I mean, it's like, you just, again, you don't even need a safe word usually if you're on the same page with your partner. You just get that look, and you get the big eyeballs. And let's go. You just know.
So like anal wouldn't be a good safe word, really?
No, that could be taken a couple of different ways.
I just want to say. All right, well, let's start wrapping this up. What do you got going on this weekend? I hear some softball tournaments coming up on the horizon.
Yeah. So I'm doing a little guys weekend. So again, I'm in the dating world right now, but I need a break. So I'm going out with the boys, going to some remote part of Florida, and we're going to play 4 softball games and a round of golf. So it's going to be just a fun boys weekend with lots of beer and lots of stories to tell, and lots of activity on the softball field and especially the golf.
How many teams in the tournament?
There's probably about 75 teams. It's a state tournament. Teams not only fly in, but they mostly come in from all different parts of Florida. And I think we're ranked 12th out of 75 teams.
That's solid.
Yeah.
It reminds me of back in the 90s. I was living in Victoria Park in a high-rise, and one of the neighbors comes up and he goes, "Hey, Brian, can you play softball?" And I played a lot of softball in Connecticut and everything like that. I was actually pretty good. And so he goes, "Come on, we're one guy short. Need you. We're got a big game today. You want to play?" I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah, I'll go play." So we walk onto the field. He goes, "Oh, just one thing." He goes, "It's a gay softball league."
What?
They're allowed. We're allowed 3 straight ringers, and right now we already got the 3. So you're going to be up to be number 4. So you put a little prance in your step or something.
They told you this when they got to the field?
As I'm just starting to warm up, I'm like, "What the fuck
that's hilarious.
Are you kidding me?" And it turned out we had a really good team. I mean, the gay team was probably one of the best teams I played on in all my life. I mean, we could play, and then
nothing wrong with that.
The straight guys on the team were just flat out like just home run hitters and just
Where did you fall? Where did you fall in this category here?
I was good. I usually bat anywhere from 3rd to 6th or something like that.
Up in the upper part of the lineup. Good.
Yeah, I was hard line drives all the time into the gap, and I was fast. I actually ended up throwing out my rotator cuff that year, and I couldn't playing softball. But it was funny. We had one tournament, and there was like 50 teams or so that came from all over the country with like legitimately gay softball league, and we were playing, and actually a few of my buddies came down to the field to like literally laugh at us and watch us and everything like that. But it was good softball, and we got to the championship game.
Did you have to practice your little prance or something? Were you always that extra gay guy?
No. But at this point, I had gotten a couple more of my friends on the team. So we had 6 straight guys on the team, and we were only allowed 3. So we had to do like a rotation of like, all right, we got the 3 that are straight, and then you 3 are going to have to play the gay thing.
How did you prove that you were... did you kiss your friend?
Believe me, the other team could actually tell. They'd be like, gay, straight, gay.
Yeah, they do have the gaydar. They know who
they know exactly who it is. But we're feeling a good team and everything. So we get to the championship game, and we start playing this one team from Chicago, and they're all these little skinny guys that are just total queens. And we had like a bunch of big guys on our team, and we just could hit the ball. They smoked us like 20-5 or something like that.
They smoked you.
But the worst memory ever was like right at the end of the game, some guy hits a inside the park grand slam, and as he rounds third base, he starts doing cartwheels from third base all the way
no
home.
Way.
It was the most.
Are you freaking kidding?
It was the most humiliating thing I've ever been part of. I'm like, are you kidding? And then as he hit home plate, he like jumped up and like it was like almost like an orgy because they just won the game totally right there, the slaughter rule or whatever.
I'd like to see video documentation.
Oh, there was none. I wish there was.
Yes, that's hilarious.
But it was the last game of the gay softball league I ever played. It was freaking funny to watch, but kind of a funny story that reminds me.
That's a very funny story. Just to clarify, mine is not a gay softball tournament.
No.
Very much a straight.
And it was a one season thing. It was
That's
tough.
what they all say. Just one time. You only did it one time.
Yeah.
You're not really gay. You just did it one
Oh,
time.
I know. I must have slid in the second heart because, man, did my ass hurt after that too. I'll tell you what. Anyways, we'll end it on that. Hope you guys are having a great time, and we will catch you next week. Peace out.